While their existence is still debated today, some people claim that alien beings have communicated with them, even though advanced space research nations have not yet made any statements about these mysterious close encounters and interactions. Some incidents that have occurred and could not be kept from public disclosure further strengthen the question marks. This document will cover various reported UFO incidents, including those involving humanoid beings, and the possibilities of extraterrestrial interactions throughout human history in chronological order. Most of these accounts come from declassified files that had been kept secret for decades. The ancient event of Japan 1803. In 1803, off the coast of Hitachi, Japan, fishermen discovered a circular mysterious vessel with glass windows and metallic panels. Inside, they found a woman dressed in unusual clothes, holding a box that she allowed no one to touch. Although the fishermen tried to communicate, the woman did not understand Japanese. While Japanese historians consider this story a part of local folklore, some ufologists suggest that it might have been an encounter with an extraterrestrial being and its craft. The Roswell Incident, 1947. In July 1947, in New Mexico, a rancher named Matt Brezel found strange debris on his property that he had never seen before. A military press release announced the recovery of a flying disc, but the story changed the next day, stating the debris was from a weather balloon. Major Jesse Marcel displayed what appeared to be ordinary debris to the press. The incident resurfaced in 1978 when investigator Stanton Friedman interviewed Major Marcel, who claimed the debris was extraterrestrial and that the government had covered it up. Years later, new witnesses claimed that alien bodies were also found. In 1994 and 1997, the U.S. Air Force released reports confirming that the debris was part of Project Mogul, a top-secret balloon program, and that the figures seen were test dummies used in parachute experiments. The Capinany Yar Incident, 1948. In the summer of 1948, an extraordinary event occurred at the Capinany Yar military base in the Soviet Union. Radar systems detected a UFO moving at high speed. When a fighter jet was dispatched, the pilot encountered a massive metallic disc-shaped craft that performed physically impossible maneuvers. After the pilot opened fire, the object lost altitude and crashed near the base. According to leaked reports, small beings with large heads and dark eyes were found in the wreckage. Soviet authorities quickly secured the area, moving the remains to a secret underground facility, where it was claimed they examined the wreckage and its occupants to replicate the technology. Although Capinany Yar is indeed a missile and rocket test site, no official document confirming this incident has ever been released. Washington, D.C. UFOs, 1952. Washington, D.C. witnessed a series of UFO sightings over 2 consecutive weekends in July 1952. Radar screens at Washington National Airport and Andrews Air Force Base detected numerous unidentified objects moving at astonishing speeds, appearing and disappearing erratically. Air traffic controllers attempted to make contact but received no response. Commercial pilots reported the lights performing extraordinary maneuvers. Panic spread, and the Air Force scrambled jets to intercept the objects. Pilots saw flashes of light, but the UFOs moved away at incredible speeds. The Air Force held a press conference to reassure the public, claiming the radar-detected objects were hoaxes, misidentified aircraft, or electrical phenomena. The Kelly-Hopkinsville Encounter, 1955, on August 21, 1955. At an isolated farmhouse in Kentucky, the Sutton family and their friends encountered a sudden flash in the sky, followed by an object landing in the nearby woods. Billy Ray Taylor claimed a flying saucer landed behind the house. From the darkness, small figures, about 1 meter tall, with pointed ears, glowing eyes, and long arms began to emerge. The family fired rifles, but the bullets seemed to ricochet off the beings' bodies. The family retreated inside, barricading doors and windows. They remained trapped for hours, listening to footsteps and scratching sounds on the roof and walls. Eventually, the beings disappeared. Police found no traces of intruders, only strange ground markings and evidence of the family's defensive efforts. The abduction of Barney and Betty Hill, 1961. In September 1961, Barney and Betty Hill encountered a light following their car on a deserted highway while returning from Canada. The light moved unpredictably and grew larger. Barney, using his binoculars, saw a massive, disc-shaped craft hovering at a low altitude, noticing windows with humanoid figures inside. When they finally arrived home, they found their watches had stopped, their binocular straps were broken, and Betty's dress was torn. Under regression hypnosis, Betty recalled seeing a map that she believed showed interstellar travel routes. Some researchers suggested it matched the Zeta Reticuli star system. Betty also recounted undergoing a physical examination. Barney described seeing humanoid beings with large heads and big eyes. The Lonnie Zamora Incident, 1964. On April 24, 1964, in New Mexico, police officer Lonnie Zamora heard a deafening roar and a brilliant flash while patrolling the streets. Believing it was an explosion or car crash, he proceeded towards the source of the sound. Upon arrival, he was astonished by a metallic egg-shaped craft resting on the ground, accompanied by 2 humanoid figures. The beings were small and wore bright suits. Zamora watched them quickly enter the craft and disappear. A few minutes later, as the craft began to ascend, a violent explosion occurred, and a blue flame shot from beneath it as it accelerated and vanished from sight. Air Force and Project Blue Book investigators examined the site, but could not provide a definitive explanation. The Pascagoula abduction, 1973. On October 11, 1973, in Pascagoula, Mississippi, 2 shipyard workers, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, were fishing when they saw a bright blue light rapidly approaching them, followed by an oval-shaped craft hovering over the water. A hatch opened, and 3 beings about 1.5 meters tall, with grayish skin and claw-like hands, and cone-shaped protrusions instead of eyes on their heads, floated towards them. The beings carried them into the craft and subjected them to what resembled a medical examination. Hickson described his body being scanned by a floating, eye-like device. Both men underwent polygraph tests, which indicated they were telling the truth. The abduction of Travis Walton, 1975. On November 5, 1975. In the Arizona forests, a young logger named Travis Walton and his crew encountered a bright disc-shaped craft. When Walton got out of the truck and approached the craft, a beam of light struck him, throwing him into the air. His friends fled, leaving him behind. 5 days later, Walton reappeared disoriented at a gas station. He recounted waking up in a bright room, surrounded by short humanoid beings with large eyes, bald heads, and pale skin. Later, he saw himself flying aboard a UFO, although his co-workers' polygraph tests yielded mixed results. Their accounts generally remained credible. The Spanish Air Base Entity, 1976. On the night of November 12, 1976, 3 soldiers patrolling the Talavera La Real Air Base in Spain encountered a light entering the base after hearing a sound similar to static interference and a high-pitched beep. They saw a humanoid figure with long arms and a soft green glow, wearing a metallic suit. An invisible barrier prevented their dogs from approaching the entity. When the creature made a sudden movement, one soldier collapsed, and the other soldiers opened fire. The luminosity intensified and then completely disappeared. 3 of the soldiers fell into a coma, and 1 developed neurodegenerative diseases. The Spanish Ministry of Defense declassified this incident in 2016. Brazil's hostile UFOs, 1977. In 1977, on Colares Island in Brazil, unknown lights began appearing over the town. Described as color-changing spheres, these lights actively pursued people, sending beams that caused burns, dizziness, and fatigue. Residents were forced to stay indoors after sunset. The Brazilian Air Force initiated an investigation codenamed Operação Prato. Military personnel arrived equipped with cameras, radar systems, and weapons, witnessing the inexplicable events firsthand. The lights performed impossible maneuvers and directed beams at civilians. Although the incident was documented, its origin could not be determined. Months later, the strange lights stopped bothering the island. The official report of the operation remained classified for years, with only parts of it declassified decades later. Captain Joran Hollanda stated he personally observed the bright objects, suggesting intelligent control. The Beings of Emilcin, 1978. On May 10, 1978, in the small village of Emilcin, Poland, a local farmer named Jan Volsky was driving his horse-drawn cart along a forest road when he noticed 2 unusual figures walking beside his vehicle. The beings appeared humanoid, were short, wore tight suits, and had greenish-toned skin. They observed him calmly, remaining silent, yet exuding a strange sense of tranquility. The beings climbed onto the cart without a word, and Volsky continued his journey without showing any fear. Rendlesham Forest Craft and Symbols, 1980. On the night of December 26, 1980, U.S. servicemen stationed at Rendlesham Forest in England saw strange lights moving silently among the trees. As they approached, they encountered a metallic triangular object hovering just above the ground. Staff Sergeant Jim Peniston touched the craft and noticed strange writings etched into its surface. A few minutes later, the object slowly ascended and disappeared. An examination the next day revealed triangular impressions where the craft had rested, signs of damage to nearby trees, and abnormally high radiation levels. British and American military authorities attributed the incident to misidentified stars or a lighthouse. UFO Pursuit in Peru, 1980. In 1980, at La Joya Air Base in Peru, approximately 1,800 people witnessed a spherical craft hovering motionless in the sky. Believing it was espionage technology, the commander ordered a Sukhoi Su-22 fighter jet to take off and intercept. Pilot Oscar Santa Maria noticed a round, silver-colored object with a transparent dome on top, no windows or visible propulsion system. The pilot fired 64 rounds, but the craft showed no signs of damage, and the bullets appeared to be absorbed by the sphere. The UFO moved with incredible agility, outmaneuvering the fighter jet. After attempting to chase it for 22 minutes, object suddenly accelerated and disappeared into the sky. This is one of the rare instances where a human pilot fired upon a UFO. Baikal Lake's underwater beings, 1982. In the summer of 1982, a group of Soviet military divers encountered colossal humanoid beings in Lake Baikal. Approximately 3 meters tall, these figures, clad in silver suits and with their heads covered by helmet-like spheres, moved effortlessly through the cold waters. Upon a commander's order to capture them, an invisible force propelled the divers to the surface, and 3 of them died from decompression sickness, while 4 others survived with severe effects. The incident was quickly covered up, but reports of underwater beings fueled speculation about the existence of possible alien bases in the lake. Ilkymore Entity Photograph, 1987. In December 1987, Philip Spencer, a former police officer and amateur photographer, was hiking on the desolate Yorkshire moors in England when he noticed a small humanoid figure moving rapidly. Feeling uneasy, Spencer raised his camera and took a photograph of the entity. The figure seemed to be heading towards a metallic, disc-shaped object hovering just above the ground, emitting a slight humming sound. A few minutes later, the craft disappeared into the mist. When Spencer returned home, he noticed his watch had jumped forward by 2 hours. Although blurry, the photograph appears to depict a small humanoid with long arms and a large head. While skeptics suggested the figure could be a human or animal, no definitive explanation has been agreed upon. Voronezh Craft and Beings, 1989. On the afternoon of September 27, 1989, in Voronezh, Russia, children playing in a local park witnessed a bright, oval-shaped metallic object emitting a reddish light appear in the sky and land. Both children and adults saw a hatch open, and 2 tall, strange-looking humanoid beings emerged, accompanied by a small robot. When one of the beings raised its hand, a beam of light enveloped the witnesses, paralyzing them. The beings then returned to their craft, and the object ascended into the sky and vanished. Investigators found unusual ground markings suggesting a heavy object had landed and abnormally high radiation levels. Scotland UFO Photographs, 1990. In August 1990, near the town of Calvine, Scotland, 2 men noticed a colossal diamond-shaped craft hovering in complete silence. They took several photographs of the object. A military jet approached the scene, but the craft remained motionless for a few minutes before quickly ascending and disappearing. The photographs were sent to a local newspaper and later to the Ministry of Defense, but they were not officially released for years. In 2022, one of the photographs finally surfaced, showing the object in striking detail. These photographs were described as some of the clearest and most credible UFO photos ever taken, with no evidence of tampering found. Zimbabwe Encounter, 1994. On the morning of September 16, 1994, at Ariel School in Rua, Zimbabwe, children playing in the yard saw a metallic-looking craft emerge from the clouds and land in the wooded area near the school. Several small humanoid figures with large, dark eyes and slightly elongated heads emerged from the craft. The children reported feeling that the beings telepathically conveyed a warning about the planet's future. The beings returned to their craft, and it disappeared into the sky. Although local authorities did not take the children's stories seriously, The consistency of their accounts attracted the interest of investigators. Brazil's Entities Incident, 1996. On January 20, 1996, in the city of Varginha, Brazil, 3 women aged 14 to 22 encountered a strange creature with brown skin, red eyes, a large head, and protrusions on its forehead. Local authorities quickly sealed off the area, while witnesses reported seeing Brazilian military vehicles transporting an unidentified object. Rumors spread that other creatures were also captured in the city. The Brazilian government denied any contact with extraterrestrial beings, attributing the panic to a misunderstanding. Pentagon UFOs, 2017. In December 2017, 3 declassified videos recorded by U.S. Navy pilots were released, challenging conventional aviation understanding. The first video, titled Fleur, November 2004, shows an oval-shaped dark UFO moving at an incredible speed without visible propulsion. The second video, called GIMBAL, January 2015, records a saucer-shaped object gliding while rotating on its axis. The third video, GOFAST, January 2015, captures a small, elongated UFO moving rapidly over the ocean. The Pentagon confirmed the authenticity of the footage, but refrained from commenting on the nature of the objects. Experts stated that the maneuvers shown exceeded the known capabilities of any human-made aircraft. These case studies illustrate how alien encounters and UFO sightings have been reported and documented in various ways throughout human history. These incidents cover a wide range, from secret military operations to individual testimonies, contributing to ongoing debates and curiosity about the existence of extraterrestrial life. The question that occupies the agenda regarding aliens, are we alone in the universe, is now far behind us. Now the new question is, why are they coming? Go ahead and answer this question in the comments below. See you in the next video.